You are likely completely unaware of this, but there is great beauty, wonder, meaning, depth, space, shadow and colour to life. Not necessarily to your life, which, if you are the average human being, is a rather shoddy little affair. Your life, as lived, is not your life. You have been educated, conditioned and programmed, made mechanical, and you live within an inner field of programming, existing as a movement within memory, like a little android computer. Thought after thought after thought, remembering the past, projecting the same past into a future which is only a modified continuity of the past, caught forever within an inner field of constantly moving and changing words and images, which is our human inner psychological life and nature. The meaning and beauty and love of life have no relationship at all to our human mind, which is why our world is always landing in such a mess. We are always attempting to order our disorderly lives, yet we fail to see that the inner thinking mind we live within is the very root beginning of the disorder we seek to act upon. That which seeks to change is that which needs to change. And as above, so below. As with the individual, so with the collective. This world is being led by energies which seek to change the world for the better, while ignoring the fact that the very leadership commanding such change is in most urgent need of change itself. We have here thieves acting as policemen to catch the thieves. A ridiculous scenario, but an actual scenario nonetheless. Our society desperately needs to change, but how can it if that which needs to change is that which is instigating the direction of change? I don't think as a race we understand well enough what the word change means. Change is synonymous with a death. For a change to have truly taken place, that which preceded must have ended. For any continuity moving towards change is a denial of the change sought. That which needs to change is directing the movement towards the change it seeks. This is a little complicated at first vision, so please take time and really look and question to see this, if not initially apparent. We need to build a good world, and to do so, we need to have a good mind, a mind which understands itself, and life is a good mind. And to build a good world, we need to meet change, for this is not a good world. This is a very bad world for the majority of us living in it. We seem to think we can ever move into a conceptual future to reverse present difficult life fortunes. I will make it better, build back better. Here, we are working within the limitations of our educated thinking minds, which is inner movements of memory, and so we are engaging the continuity of what came before, which can certainly never be called a change. How many of us see this? Really see this? When you see such facts for yourself, a change is beginning to take place. If I act on thinking, I am acting on the past, because thought is memory. All actions of the past are a mere continuity of that past in modified form. This is the folly of humanity. We understand we must have a change, but we seek to build a change from the limited storehouse of information gathered from our past, from our thinking. We seek to think our way to change, and our thoughts are limited to what came before, for our thoughts are movement within human memory, and so the continuity in the direction of our thought-constructed plans ensures the continuity of what we have previously been, ensuring we are forever caught in the same destructive, divisive patterns of life, and so change never arrives. Change in nature means the death of what came before. How can we have a world without corruption when corruption is leading us there? Externally and internally, our lives are led by a corruption. It is this corruption which must end, and this corruption, which is our inner self-interest, is the very movement of our educated, programmed inner thinking mind, the human self, the ego. Listen to this. This is a destructive energy to your life and to the life of all of our society. For this educated, conceptual inner image of continuity and becoming in time is what divides our lives, one man from another. This educated mechanical activity of memory is what needs to end if we are to come into true relationship and truly build a good world for all of us. The human self-interest, is brutally competitive, divisive, greedy, seeking ever security in educated illusions, pleasure-seeking, pained, hurt, and divisive. Jesus Christ apparently stated that unless a man be born again, he cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Dies, meaning a complete ending to what came before. A change in the life of a man needs a death to be born again, an ending to what has previously been, providing the needed space for the birth of something new. Was Jesus talking of the death of the human ego, the inner thinking mind of humanity? I think he was. We need to change, and we cannot possibly act on society as if it were something completely detached from what we are. We built this society upon the inner structures of our thinking minds. The outer divisions of religion, politics, nationalism, wealth, class, ideology, belief and prejudice are all outer manifestations of our inner divisively thinking minds. Our area of thought is what needs to change, and the change here at the very root of the movement which gives birth to all our outer global activities shall be the change our world needs to see. A new mind will build a new society. The old mind of educated thought, of educated division, of becoming, of self-interest and time, which is deeply selfish and so ignorant and uncaring towards the lives of others, is only capable of building in reflection of its own inner nature. We are eternally headed towards a cliff. And so the change we need to see is in the area of our thinking, and as a very wise man himself directed us towards over 2,000 years ago. Unless a man be born again, he cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Unless we die to living in our past, which is knowledge, which is the movement of thought, we can never come to meet life anew in relationship, which is love, devoid of any corrupting self-interest, which always contaminates everything. The change we need see in our world, if we are going to survive ourselves, is the ending of this egocentric approach to life, of becoming and an eternal accumulation to myself, as though I was the only important thing in this world. How do we do this? Good question. The inner educated self of mankind is a complex and conflicted structure, and we have all been trained to act from this inner structure as if this were the only valid approach to life. It is not. We were born with another approach, a natural approach. We were born meeting the universe with our senses, uncontaminated by self-interested considerations. We need end this selfish corruption which we have been educated to re-find our natural-born vision of life. When our view of life is no longer being coloured by inner desires, inner greed, inner seeking of power, which is all inner self-interest, then we may at last come to see our world and our lives as they are, as they always have been, although as we have never paid any attention to, as our minds have been trained to be always inwardly busy, forever distracted, forever occupied, always becoming something, always making better. We are always sowing seeds, but never coming to reap the harvest. For when harvest time arrives, we are busy sowing more seeds. Becoming is a movement of no arrival. The future never comes, and humanity is starving for an arrival. The future never comes, for when one reaches a certain plateau, another is seen to arise to continue the insanity reality of living a life as a process of eternal becoming, which is to live life without rest, always travelling, never arriving. For this world to change, the ordering structure of this world presently needs to die. For this structure is what has led us here. And this ordering structure has been the conditioned, programmed, self-corrupted, educated mind of humanity. A divisive mind, a conflicted mind, a mind based on the past, and so limited in nature to repeating movements gathered from the past. You will be the change, and the change will be the death of what you are today, and you will come to find the meaning of Christ's words in your life. You will be reborn, or there will be no change at all.